Hi, you can say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, now you can go eat dinner.
There we go.
Perfect.
Thank you. Wasn't letting me unmute or show my video. People they don't want to see me so tired. Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have Medford School Committee meeting date May 24th, 2022. There will be a committee of the whole meeting on Tuesday, the 24th, 2022 at 5 p.m. to be held remotely on Zoom. You can also call in by dialing 1-929-205-6099. The meeting will be viewed through YouTube as well as on Medford Community Media on Comcast Channel 15 and Verizon Channel 45 at 5 p.m. Additionally, questions or comments can be submitted during the meeting by emailing medfordsc@medford.k12.ma.us. Those submitting must include the following information: your first and last name, your Medford Street address, your question or comment. The agenda will be as follows. First up is the purpose of the meeting for the school committee to receive the self-evaluation of the superintendent, Dr. Maurice Edward Vincent. And before we start, I just asked Member Rousseau to call the roll.
Member Graham.
Member Graham.
Here.
Can't hear you.
Are you all having trouble hearing me?
Now we can.
Okay. Member
Try
Hayes.
again. Yep. Member Hayes?
Here.
Member Kretz.
Here.
Member McLaughlin.
Here.
Member Stone.
Here.
Member Rousseau here. Mayor Longo-Kern.
Present, 7 present, 0 absent. We can move on to the first part of our agenda, and I will turn it over to Dr. Edward Vincent.
Yes. Good evening. This evening, I am pleased to share with you my self-evaluation for school year 21-22. It is a little bit of a lengthy document. I will go through the documents, and there are several hyperlinks within the document for you, the members, to be able to review as you take this document to look at the evidence of practice for the year. So I would just like to open my remarks with the following remarks. Please find my self-evaluation attached, which you have. This evaluation is based on the events from July of 2021 through the end of the school year. You may refer to the superintendent's goals from school year 21-22, and you may use the link to access the goals that were established earlier this school year. The newly adopted Medford Public Schools District Strategy for Improvement document, which is our strategic plan, was approved last year on June 7th of 2021. And that document provides the blueprint for the district staff to achieve the mission of the Medford Public Schools. Our mission is as follows. The Medford Public Schools is a caring educational partnership of school, family, and community designed to ensure that all students are afforded a safe and healthy learning environment in which they develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to reach their full academic and personal potential. This partnership is dedicated to providing all students with a 21st century education that will enable them to be lifelong learners and contributors to a diverse and rapidly changing world. Again, I want to just remind everyone that the strategic plan document is a document that's a living document, and we will continue to add additional information to that document. There is a hyperlink referring to the strategic plan update that I shared and presented to the committee in January of 22. So the following information I'm going to share. I have one district improvement goal. I have a student learning goal, and I also have my professional practice goal that I will be sharing with you this evening. So under the district improvement goal, it states the following. Given the unprecedented hybrid learning environment during the school year of 2021, MPS will utilize common systems and assessments to accurately assess the learning and social emotional needs of our students this school year. Additionally, through professional development, observation, and evaluation of staff, we will provide increased support to staff to better meet the needs of all of our learners. So under our district improvement goals, we had a focus on developing a district-wide focus on instruction and assessment. And under that particular goal, again, where we had hybrid learning and we had some students that for the entirety of last school year were remote. This school year, we knew we had to take, we needed to take stock of where we were as a district. And so between staff absences, student absences due to quarantining, lack of substitutes, there were many, many challenges and obstacles that we had to overcome this year. And we also noticed that many students and staff are still recovering emotionally and academically, the students, from the periods of hybrid instruction and missed work that didn't happen from being in school for a full academic year. So particular professional development that was offered this school year, we had social emotional learning professional development for our staff. We added the Nexus classrooms. We added additional supports with our guidance and behavioral health teams. The execution of the multi-tiered systems of support and the return of extracurricular activities. We had training this year on implicit bias. We had training this year on race, equity, diversity, and inclusion. We had training this year on responsive classroom using a train the trainer model. We had training this year on NWEA map growth. We had training, robust training this year on supervision and evaluation training for all administrators. And that was provided by Rebus Associates that is going to continue working with Medford Public Schools next year. We've also had significant work on developing a community of practice for system coherence. That was the professional development work that took place this year with Dr. Carmen Williams in executing professional development and looking at data with all of our administrators. And so many of the proposed outcomes that were listed in the goals were improved cell practices, cell acknowledgement, and working with our students around social emotional learning practices for staff and for our leadership team, tailored instruction to improve student outcomes, targeted feedback for teachers to improve practice, and school and districts leaders leading and learning together. So those were our first goal under the district improvement goals. Our second goal listed under the district improvement goal was maintaining a learning environment built upon the pillars of safety, equity, and consistency. Safety, equity, and consistency were the three pillars that guided us throughout the pandemic, and they continue to guide us. Under safety, Medford Public Schools continues to use our safety protocols. And although right now we are mask optional, we still fully utilize our safety protocols. We continued our collaboration with Tufts University and the Broad Institute with testing. And we concluded the formal testing right at the end of February of 2022. And now we are using the at-home testing where families test their child either Sunday evening or Monday morning before students report to school. So we used, we had a link, well, there was a link in your document to the COVID-19 positive case tracker, the school testing consent forms, the at-home testing consent forms, the vaccine clinics that were offered throughout this school year, and an additional reference to school counseling presentations, support presentations. Under equity, which we continued to champion equity in its true sense of the word, providing all students with access to district opportunities to ensure individual student success. And so under equity, we talked about the professional development, which I mentioned to you earlier, and we continue to have the work of our race equity task force. Also, we have NWEA MAP, and we are conducting the human resources audit, our equity audit through the equity process. So those are initiatives that the Medford Public Schools has been working on, in addition to my being a part of the statewide Mass Ready group, which is Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Initiative. I was part of that pilot group through the state. Under consistency, NWEA MAP is the district's way of having an informal assessment system where we gather data at the district level. And by gathering data at the district level, we are able to start looking at trends. This is the first year that we have used NWEA MAP. We will be making a presentation to the committee next month on our data thus far with NWEA MAP, but we are looking forward to next fall's data to really have a full 1 year cycle of where we were in the fall of 21 to the fall of 22, and use the fall of 22 data as our new baseline data, where all of the kinks have kind of been worked out, and we're able to start using our in-house data in a more consistent fashion. So that's what we would say under consistency, trying to have academic consistency across the entire district. Again, our NWEA MAP data is district-wide, K-12, although we stop at like 10th grade, but at each level, elementary, middle, and high school, we are gathering common assessment data. So that is my information under the district improvement goal. I am going to transition to the student learning goal. This year, I did transition, and the student learning goal was on elementary literacy. We were assessing early literacy skills and implementing interventions in literacy to improve outcomes by deepening teacher and principal knowledge of early literacy practices. Some of the forms of evidence that support this goal. We supported the development and the implementation of an effective early literacy program. We adhered to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education's DESE's dyslexia guidance through the implementation of the Enhanced Core Reading Instruction, our ECRI program. With ECRI, we are implementing during our Tier 1, it's being implemented district-wide in our K-2 classrooms during our Tier 1 English Language Arts instruction blocks. We continue to have a partnership with Hill for Literacy during this school year, where feedback from the listening tour, the teachers were very, very complimentary and very happy about the quality of the professional development and the coaching that they were receiving. And they believe that it is really helping them to improve and grow their practice. So that was something where we received extensive feedback, and going through the classrooms, you can also see the implementation of ECRI. Even if I'm walking through, not in a formal walkthrough, if ECRI is taking place, the teachers will say to me, oh, come and see, I'm doing an ECRI lesson. So that has happened when I'm there, and they are really proud to really showcase what they've learned and what their students have learned using this consistent methodology. Again, we are all using the NWEA MAP assessment tool. Again, we're going to be looking at the middle of the year and end of year data, and finally having an in-house assessment system, which is truly, truly a remarkable feat, something that I'm very excited about. Although it wasn't listed as an official goal, I did want to just provide a very brief update to the members that on elementary math, my first 3 years within the district, we were focusing, my student learning goal had been on mathematics. And I just wanted to update you that I am still committed to addressing elementary achievement in math. And that, again, due to the pandemic, we were not conducting learning walks, they were suspended. But where we are truly moving, getting to a better place, I am hoping for next year to be able to continue doing our rounds in the classrooms. I do want to share with the members that this year, our math director, Ms. Faiza Khan, worked with a task force, and that Turk Investigations 3 was selected as the official new elementary math curriculum. And that this coming year, we will be piloting the integrated math pathway at the secondary level, so that we are still keeping our focus on mathematics, although we are also looking at early literacy. So I do just want to share that, and I've attached a few math resources there just for you to review them. After the student learning goal, my third goal was my professional practice goal. And my professional practice goal, which has been about the professional development that I participate in. I completed the full coursework through DESE of NISUP, which was an intensive 3-year program. At the end of our 3rd year, DESE offered superintendents who were graduating from the program the opportunity to participate in a 4th year of NISUP. And so I did take advantage of that opportunity for continued learning, to work with a smaller cohort of superintendents. And I participated in the professional development sessions and working on problems of practice, and working with a focus on what equity looks like within the different districts. So there is a lengthy narrative that kind of explains what some of the work looked like of what I was doing with NISUP. In addition to NISUP's 4th year extension, I also participated in the Massachusetts READY group, and the READY, REDI, stands for Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Group. This was the pilot cohort group for Massachusetts, and it consisted of 24 superintendents, assistant superintendents, and directors of equity throughout the Commonwealth. 12 of them identified as BIPOC individuals of color, and 12 of the superintendents or white superintendents. And this pilot group was giving superintendents and assistant superintendents this opportunity to come together as two groups, as one whole group, and then we would separate into affinity groups to really tackle issues of racial equity, diversity, and inclusion. And today was our 8th session meeting throughout the year, and I participated in all sessions. And at today's session, they said they would be reaching out to us next month to let us know what the extension would look like for next year. The work that we did as a pilot group is going to be offered again throughout the Commonwealth to other superintendents. So the feedback that we gave being part of this pilot group is going to help inform the work that's going to continue to happen across the Commonwealth. You will be hearing about much more guidance from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed. DESE is going to be giving clearer instructions and support resources for districts to use when working with topics of racial equity, diversity, and inclusion. The third professional development group that I was tapped on the shoulder to be part of is the New England Multi-State Leading Now cohort. Again, this is another cohort of superintendents from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. And this work has just started, so I am not quite halfway through. The work will continue next year as well, and helping us really see what different states are going through and how to support our districts first and foremost with issues around racial equity, diversity, and inclusion. Most recently, they did share some additional resources with all of the superintendents regarding the tragedy that had taken place in Buffalo last week. So that is another professional learning community where I am receiving training and participating actively in gathering information that I'm able to bring back to the district and use to better inform my leadership here in Medford. The next portion of the report, I'm on page 6, is essentially talking about the 4 standards that are recommended by DESE. And so I've listed and I've cited under instructional leadership, standard 1, several pieces of evidence, but under instructional leadership, again, many of things I mentioned earlier, and also citing school committee documentation. Also this year, being fortunate to have a superintendent in residence and providing instructional leadership there as well. Under standard 2, which is management and operations, this year, one of the key pieces that we did as a district was the submission of the application to the MSBA and trying to maintain an even more transparent budget process. So those were 2 key highlights, which I listed under management and operations. Under category 3, family and community engagement, again, continuing to maintain weekly communications with the community. We had our first full year with the engagement hub, continuing to work with our Race Equity Task Force, participating in Women's History Month celebrations, the Lunar New Year celebration, Haitian Flag Day celebration, the middle school lottery process. We had middle school open houses that were in person this year, kindergarten open houses that were able to be in person. There are many, many things, participating in department head meetings, which take place at the city hall level, but really trying to be well-rounded. But again, focusing on communicating with parents weekly and meeting with parents and interacting with parents when possible at in-person events. Also, there were a few things from a community engagement perspective, supporting the Stand With Ukraine event that took place, our Arbor Day celebrations, many of our CCSR initiatives, participating in the legislative breakfast, where many of you members were able to participate in that at the West Medford Community Center, participating in the Martin Luther King Day event, participating in District Attorney Ryan's Cut It Out program, and events to come next week, high school graduation on June 1st, and many other senior events, senior prom at the end of this week, and award ceremonies taking place this week. Lastly, for number 4, under professional culture, again, I listed the superintendent's listening tour, and I listed many other documents and supporting initiatives, but the listening tour really gave me an opportunity to hear from educators and from staff to just get feedback in an informal way, and just see and hear what stakeholders would like to see more of and hear more of. So in closing, I just want to share that I am fully committed to the work that I am doing. I am committed to ACEs, achievement, collaboration, equity, and support and safety as the 4 guiding pillars that are the basis of my educational leadership. As an educator, I believe in the achievement and academic outcomes of all of our students. And as this graduation season is upon us and our seniors are moving on to college and careers, I want to stress the importance of academic achievements for all of our learners. I am pleased, and I said it before, that next year we will have nearly 600 students participating in vocational programming, which is showing that there is a shift happening in Medford, but we need to be prepared for that shift, because participating in vocational programming does not mean that you cannot go to college. If anything, it enhances and means that you can have a trade, and you can also continue on to college and be fully well-rounded. So in order to continue the work of leading this district, I must say that it cannot be done without the support of a team. I wholeheartedly thank the support of my senior leadership team and the administrators who manage all the schools. This takes collaboration and coordination of teams, administrators, teachers, and staff to create the best learning environments for all of our students. And so I thank them for that. That's my C of ACEs. And the goal of meeting the needs of all learners must be done through the lens of equity, which I talked a lot about today. It doesn't mean giving all students the same things, but giving each student what they need to keep learning. Equity is not limited to race, but it is a fully inclusive term that embraces all of our unique characteristics, such as learning styles, language needs, religious affiliations, gender and sexual identities. It is our diversity that makes us stronger. Lastly, support and safety are key pillars to meeting the diverse needs of our population. Although the pandemic is now being referred to as an endemic, the effects of COVID-19 will remain with us for the foreseeable future. It is incumbent upon us to keep our community whole and supported in every way possible. In closing, I am proud to be your superintendent, and I am incredibly grateful to be a member of the Medford Public Schools community. With all of the societal pressures and plagues that our world is encountering, I will use my position to make this district a better place for all of our students. I believe in Medford Public Schools, and we are Medford strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Edward Vincent. Great job. We have a second part of the agenda unless we have any questions here. Number 2, we have negotiations and legal matters, executive session. Upon motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, executive session of the Medford School Committee pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, conduct a strategy session on the basis that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation positions of the Medford School Committee. Specifically, the Medford School Committee will be discussing ongoing collective bargaining negotiations with 9 separate labor unions.
Motion to move into
Motion.
executive section.
To go into executive session by Member McLaughlin, seconded by Member Kretz. Roll call, please.
Member Graham,
Yes.
Member Hayes,
Yes.
Member Kratz,
Yes.
Member McLaughlin,
Yes.
Member Stone,
Yes.
Member Rousseau, yes, Mayor Longo Kern.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. We're going to move into executive session. Okay, thank you. Motion approved.
Who is the person who's just the dash?
I do not know.
Oh, you're not in the executive session.
Did they just, they had to have been invited in, right?
Hold on one second. They're not in the executive session.
Oh, I'm not in it either, am I?
You need to join.
No, he's not.
Sorry.
All right.
Who is that?
Hello, the iPhone. Could I have your name and identification, please?
It's Howard Greenspan, Dr. Cushing.
Thank you, sir. All right, we will move you into the breakout room.
wait for a couple more to come back. Our executive session is concluded, but before we take a motion to adjourn, I'd just like to ask if we could take a moment of silence for what's going on in Texas.
I cannot add my video, Mayor, just saying. I don't know why. I'm been blocked. The host has stopped me. It doesn't matter. We can just do the moment of silence. I just want folks to know that I'm here and also thinking of folks in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Our hearts go to the families and all dealing with what's going on in Texas. Motion to
Motion to
adjourn
adjourn.
by Member McLaughlin, seconded by
Second.
Member Rousseau. Roll call, please.
Member Graham,
Yes.
Member Hayes,
Yes.
Member Kratz,
Yes.
Member McLaughlin,
Yes.
Member Mustone,
Yes.
Member Rousseau, yes, Mayor Longo Kern.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.